All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to go on a kind of detective story, but we're doing it backwards. We're starting right here in our super connected digital present, and we're going to peel back the layers of time looking for the source code of our reality. A reality that, might be more of an illusion than we think.
So let's kick things off with a big question that's going to guide our entire journey. I mean, just look at the screen you're on right now. Really look at it. Are those pixels, those digital shadows dancing in front of you, really any different from the flickering shadows on an ancient cave wall? Let's find out.
Our story begins today, right now. We're living in what a lot of people are starting to call the metaverse. And no, this isn't just about fancy VR headsets. It's about the massive information-soaked digital world that we all navigate every single day. And it kind of feels like as our physical world gets smaller, this digital universe just keeps expanding to fill the space.
So, what is this metaverse, really? Well, think of it as the next step for the internet. It's this potentially limitless frontier where brand new ideas can collide, where we can tackle incredibly complex problems together, and where totally new kinds of collaboration can be born. It's a space with, honestly, infinite potential.
And the promise here is huge, right? We're talking about a world with unprecedented connection. We can talk to millions of people in an instant, we can build entire encyclopedias together like Wikipedia, and we can even explore new ways of thinking through something like video games. The big dream here? A future that is literally built by our collective minds. But here's the thing. This whole digital world, it isn't magic. It's built on very real, very physical, and economic infrastructure. So that leads to a crucial question. Who's in control? Who are the people and the massive companies that maintain this new reality for us, and what do they want? Answering that question means we have to start traveling back in time. Okay, so let's jump back a bit to the late 20th and early 21st centuries. It's here that a pretty bold claim starts to take shape. The idea that maybe, just maybe, behind the curtain of our everyday lives, a hidden power structure has been busy, well, architecting our reality and creating this powerful illusion of choice. Now, according to this particular viewpoint, our democracy is actually something closer to a corporate oligarchy. And this alleged structure is held up by three main pillars. You've got the Council on Foreign Relations acting as a kind of executive branch, the Federal Reserve controlling the money, and a massively consolidated media acting as its propaganda arm. And this slide right here, this really hammers home that point about the media. In just over 30 years, the number of companies controlling most of the information we get, it dropped from 50 down to just 6. I mean, think about that. When so few sources control the entire narrative, how much real diversity of thought can there be? And you can see this apparent disconnect in our politics. Check this out. In the 2014 US elections, Congress had a dismal 14% public approval rating. You'd think that would mean a massive wave of change, right? Nope. A whopping 96% of incumbents got reelected. Those numbers just don't seem to add up, which feeds that idea of an illusion of choice. So, if the world around us, our external world, is potentially this constructed, then what about our internal one? How is your sense of self, your very identity, your idea of who you are, how is that actually formed? To even begin to answer that, we've got to travel back again. This time to the foundational psychological theories of the 20th century. Because it's here that a huge battle was being fought over the very definition of the self. Is it something that's born from within you, or is it something that's built from the outside? And here we have the two competing models. On one side, you've got Freud with his very Western, individualistic model. For him, the self is this internal battleground between your id, ego, and superego. It's generated from inside. But on the other side, you've got George Mead's social self, which is a more Eastern, collective idea. Here, the self is actually constructed by the group through shared things like language and structured interactions like play. So what are you? A unique individual or a reflection of your society? You know, this whole battle over what's real, it's not just fought in labs or in textbooks. It's fought on the stage, in books, and on our screens. The stories we tell are incredibly powerful tools for shaping reality. So how far back does this art of illusion actually go? So now we're diving into the world of art and narrative. This is a place where creating powerful simulated worlds isn't just a side effect, it's the entire point. From ancient times all the way to today, storytelling has been one of the main ways we manufacture reality. The philosopher Jean Baudrillard, man, he nailed this idea perfectly.
He talked about this state of hyperreality, where the simulation, the map, the story, the copy, it becomes more real and more important than the actual thing it was supposed to represent. We end up living in the scenario, not in the world itself.
And trust me, this is not a new idea. Look at this. We're talking over 2,000 years ago. The ancient Greeks already had a formula for it. Aristotle, he broke down tragic plays into these 6 elements. He knew that if you carefully combine action, character, and language in just the right way, you could construct a narrative reality that was literally designed to produce specific emotions, like pity and fear, in your audience. It's like an ancient blueprint for emotional engineering.
And that theme just echoes right into our modern stories. This line from the movie Dark City. It could be a mission statement for anyone trying to construct a reality. This idea that our memories, our very identities, can just be shuffled around and rearranged, it's a constant fascination, and maybe a constant warning in our art. So we've seen this pattern pop up in our digital world, in our politics, in our own psychology, and in our art. But we still haven't gotten to the source code. Where did this powerful, foundational idea, this metaphor of mistaking shadows for the real thing, where did it actually come from? We've arrived. This is our final destination. We're looking at the original blueprint for everything we've been talking about. We're going all the way back to ancient Greece, to the philosopher Plato, and his famous allegory of the cave. This is the story that started it all. So here's the setup. Just picture this. People chained up in a cave their entire lives, forced to face a wall. Behind them, there's a fire. And between the fire and the prisoners, puppeteers carry objects which cast shadows on the wall. For these prisoners, the shadows aren't just like reality. They are reality. It is literally all they have ever known. But then, Plato describes the painful journey of one prisoner who gets freed. He's forced out into the blinding sunlight. And at first, it's just pure pain. But slowly, his eyes adjust. He starts to see reflections, then the real objects, and finally the sun itself, the source of all truth. But when he goes back to the cave to tell the others, his eyes can't see in the dark anymore. The other prisoners just mock him. They think his journey has ruined him. In fact, they would rather kill him than be forced to leave their comfortable darkness. And this is what connects everything back to our theme of art and illusion. For Plato, a painter's art was exactly like the shadows on the wall. See, a real object, like a bed, is already one step removed from the true idea of a bed. A painting of that bed, that's another step removed. It's a copy of a copy, a shadow of a shadow, thrice removed from the truth. And so this ancient story brings us all the way back to our very first question. From the shadows on a cave wall to the pixels on our screens, it seems we're always surrounded by constructed realities. So the final question, the one I want to leave you with, is this. If you were the one who escaped, if you saw the sun and the world as it truly is, could you go back to the cave? And even if you did, would anyone believe you?